Bet with your friends on WynnBET Sportsbook today using promo code BlueWire to get up to $1,000 toward a risk-free sports bet. Sign up now at WYNNBet.com. Offer subject to change, terms and conditions at WynnBET.com. Must be 21 or older and present in the state where playthrough WynnBET is available. If you or someone you know has a gambling problem, call 1-800-522-4700.
We built this city. We built this city on top 10 lists.
I'm starting out embarrassed for you.
Okay. We built this city of the Tennis Podcast. I'm your only host, Nick Amell.
Sure, and I'm your sidekick host, Brandon.
It's less than an only host. This is the long-awaited, historic episode 150. Brandon, we've been doing this shit for 3 years. Over 3 years.
$1.50.
Yeah. This is coming to you in Spooktober, and normally in October, we do top 10 lists that are creepy. And by the way, if you're listening to this show for the first time, we guess each other's top 10 lists every week. And this week, instead of a spooky-themed week, we're going to take a sidebar since it is a special episode 150. We'll get back to spooky time next week. This week, we're going to do something we did one other time way back 100 episodes ago on episode 50. And that is Brandon is going to guess the top 10 lists that the Tennis Podcast has covered.
Okay.
So you might want to pull open your podcast app to have the episodes in front of you.
Yeah.
These are the episodes that have been downloaded the most times by our listeners to date.
Okay.
We are recording this a few weeks early, so the last couple of episodes won't be included in this.
Alrighty. I got some good guesses. I'm going to start with the most popular presidents in U.S. history.
Is that episode 2?
That is episode 2.
That is not in the top 10.
Okay.
But there is a different presidential episode in the top 10.
Well, that's what I was going to say. What about the worst presidents in history?
No.
Worst presidents isn't it? What about the best presidents?
No.
The smartest?
The smartest. You did not do very smartly on that guessing, but the smartest presidents in U.S. history is number 5. That's episode 84.
And that was my list.
Yeah, I'm glad you said that because during today's episode, we're going to keep tally of who brought the list for these episodes so we can determine definitively.
He's bringing hot content.
That's right. So the number 5 on the list here is smartest presidents in U.S. history. It was Brandon's list, episode 84. It came out April 2020. About 11.3 billion downloads to date. And for each of these lists, I went through on our website at tennispod.com. All of our episodes have a full word-for-word transcript. So you can actually go to our website right now and read every single word in every single episode we've ever done. And the reason I'm plugging that strategically right now is because I did that to find some key words and phrases from each of these episodes to kind of jog our memory of what we talked about.
Mm-hmm. You're going to have to jog my memory.
So some of these are very random, and I don't even remember the context they're in. First one is Danny DeVito Dick.
Oh, probably short and thick.
That's what I'm guessing.
I'm going to say that's a reference to a short but squat penis.
How tall is Trump? He's tall, right? He's not short.
He says he's like 6'3", but it's
whatever.
It's hard to tell. Yeah,
you can't trust anything he says.
He's at least 6 feet tall, I think.
Yeah, so he's at least average, if not beyond average. But yeah, but he is thick. So that's Danny DeVito Dick. Also in this episode, we talked about college today versus college in the past.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm going to guess that's because I think about this sometimes where like people are like, he graduated from Harvard back in, 1803 or whatever. I'm like, what the fuck? How hard could it have been to graduate Harvard in 1803?
Yeah, you could get a medical degree just by knowing like the right kind of leech to put on somebody.
To bloodlet them, yeah.
Yeah.
Or what are some other weird shit they used to believe?
They used to believe in, what were they called? Humors. Different humors throughout the body. Like bile and...
That's right.
Like sort of amorphous chemical gaseous things in the body they thought would fall out of balance.
Gaseous things, you say, huh? Well, I don't know if they had retired this by like the 1800s or not, but for a long time in human history, medicine was practiced based on alignment of planets and stars in the sky.
Astrology?
Astrology, thank you. I couldn't think of that word. But yeah, so like if you got sick and you went to the doctor in, say, November, they'd say, well, it's this time of year. The planets are aligned in this way. Therefore, it must be this you're sick with.
Right. But they were wrong. That's not right.
Yeah, so college today, much tougher. Also on the expenses. So one other thing we talked about was the toughest presidents. Brandon, off the top of your head, who would you say are the 2 or 3 of the most toughest presidents that would win in a fist fight with other presidents?
Teddy Roosevelt.
Mm-hmm.
Abraham Lincoln.
Yeah,
Abraham Lincoln
yeah.
was a scrapper. He's long and skinny, so he had a good reach too.
What about George W. Bush?
Oh man, he could just toss some watercolors at him, and he would gather them up and scamper away.
Taft?
No, he's too fat and slow.
But he'd hit hard.
Yeah, it's kind of hard. Maybe Andrew Jackson when he was younger, but no, while they were in office, probably Lincoln and Roosevelt.
Washington, Grant.
George Washington. I don't think Grant was especially physically tough guy. Washington probably was.
I think Washington was beating asses until his final breath.
Yeah. It's fucking 17 goddamn dicks.
Washington. Okay, so I think we're done on presidents here. Do you have another guess?
Yeah, what about the deadliest pandemics in history?
No, I was disappointed to see that didn't make it. Not in the top 10, not in the top 20, in fact.
What about the most mentioned characters in the Bible? Episode 77.
Nope, that's a personal favorite of mine, and also I hear that come up a lot in listeners mentioning, but no, not in the top 20. There is I was surprised by the theme that I see in the top 10.
Okay. Deadliest cults.
No, I think that's, I'm looking. It's must be right outside the top 10.
How about...
Or 20, I mean.
Best horror films?
The highest grossing horror films, episode 5, is number 18.
Okay. Trying to see if I can weasel my way into figuring out this trend in the top 10. What about...
You're great at weaseling your way in and out of things, so I'm going to guess you're great
the best-selling Nintendo games.
No, but there is a video game episode in the top 10.
Best-selling video game franchises?
Yes. Our very first episode is number 3 in the top 10. Episode 1, best-selling video game franchises. A list brought to you by yours truly. It was released August 29th, 2018. So yeah, just 3 years and 2-ish months ago, we did that. It has 40.1 billion downloads as of the time of this recording.
Sounds about right.
Some keywords. I actually remember some of these. Killing sex workers with a chainsaw.
Oh, that's Grand Theft Auto.
That's Grand Theft Auto. And I like how in our first episode, when we're trying to make the best first impression on potential new listeners all over the world, you thought it was good to dive right in.
It worked.
It worked, I guess, yeah. Maybe we'd have even more listeners if not for that. Although we did have 40 billion downloads on this episode, so. Hand-crocheted Afghan for Christmas.
Yeah, that's what I thought. I was getting a Super Nintendo.
Yeah.
And I thought my brother was getting a Super Nintendo too, but no. My grandma made us hand-crocheted Afghans instead.
So did you have fun with your hand-crocheted Afghan? Are you glad you got that instead of a Super Nintendo?
Absolutely not. I was in a grown-up before I got to play some of the Super Nintendo games that I'd missed out on.
Really? Well, think about it. The Super Nintendo can't keep you warm in cold weather. You can't snuggle it in bed. It wasn't made with love from your Grammy.
Yeah, but
so I don't know.
Yeah, but it does play awesome video games, which was a high priority at Christmas time when I was 9.
Yeah, but all those video games would just rot your mind and make you more violent. So I think your grandma was doing you a favor. One more keyword from this episode is Custer's Revenge.
Yeah, that's like a dirty Atari game. You try to get a naked Custer who has like a flagging erection.
Oh, baby.
You try to navigate him across the screen, dodging arrows to rape a Native American woman at the other end.
God damn. Are you embellishing at all, or is this legit?
That's legit. It's also in that episode, but yeah, I house set for these people who had an immense video game library, and they had every Atari game known to man, including some that were like banned in America.
With good reason, I guess.
And Custer's Revenge was too hot for TV. Were
you an adult when this happened? When you played this?
Yeah, I was in my mid-20s.
Man, video games used to be so much less violent back in the day, huh?
For real.
Just kidding. All right, that's number 3 video game franchises. And also the best-selling video game consoles is number 11.
What about the heaviest presidents?
No.
Is that one not in the top 10?
Mm-mm. So let's see. There's 1, 2, 3, 4 out of the top 10 follow that trend I mentioned.
What about the greatest songs of all time?
Greatest songs of all time. Is that 132?
Mm-hmm.
It's not in here, but I was meticulously analyzing the data for this episode. I did see that it's climbing. I'll bet it will be in the top 10 the next time we do this episode.
Okay. I'm going to stick with music themed.
Okay.
What about the most popular Christmas carols?
I didn't think you'd guess that one. That's number 10. Most popular Christmas carols. Episode 68. It was a list brought to you by Nick Amell, host of the Tennis Podcast. It was released December 2019. And as of last count, pulling this in September of this year, 742.1 million downloads so far. You ready for those keywords?
Mm-hmm.
First one is Bing Crosby is an asshole.
Yeah, he beat his kids and stuff. I think. Probably. He probably beat his kids. Let me look that up. I think we had this conversation last time where I shit all over Bing Crosby and called him I'm just going to look at Bing Crosby abuse.
There was some reason he was an asshole. I can't remember what it is now.
Yeah.
Beat his kids?
He attributed many of his troubles to alleging his famous father, Bing, had physically and mentally abused him. And yeah. He's also one of 8 horrid Hollywood parents, according to an article from CTV News.
Now save that, because that's an episode we need to do someday. Yeah, Bing Crosby's an asshole, but he did sing about that White Christmas. So I guess we got to keep him in pop culture forever.
You don't have to think about him beating his kids when you listen to the music. You can separate those.
Some people can. Some people can't. Speaking of a White Christmas, here's a quote. Stay cool by thinking cool. Do you remember that?
I don't.
There's a song, I'll look it up here in a minute, but there's one of these carols that was on this list where the writers of it, they were asked in an interview, like, how'd you come up with such a great song? And they said, well, I was in a cabin in summer and I was so hot. And I thought, well, how can I cool down? I know. I'll write all the things that make me feel cool. And that became the song.
That's how desperate people were before air conditioning. You just sit around and write a classic Christmas song, end up making millions of dollars just because they're so fucking desperate to escape the sweltering heat.
I'm going to start applying that to everything. When I'm hungry, instead of overeating on some junk food, I'm just going to think about junk food and write them down. Do it for anything. Just write it down, think about it really good and hard, and then you won't do that thing. Change your mind, change your environment. Okay, so one more is songs about dick smelling. You must have guessed that while you're trying to guess these top 10 carols.
Well, there's this song that I found on YouTube, probably been 10 or 15 years ago now. This woman, her boyfriend comes home and she suspects him, and the title of the song is Let Me Smell Your Dick.
Yeah.
But I don't think it's not a Christmas song. I'm not sure how we made that leap.
Well, I think you made that leap. Also, if you think your husband's cheating on you, there's other ways to do it than to get down on your hands and knees and put your nostrils right up to the winky, which is probably flaccid at the time, and just
physical evidence.
Get a big old whiff.
It's physical evidence.
Yeah, I guess. Well, I guess I've never been in that scenario on either end, so I can't speak to its effectiveness or efficiency. But I can say, even if that happened to me or I did that to someone else, I don't think I'd write a song about it. I think there's other passions in life to inspire songwriting. But you're on the right trend here with music. Right.
So how about then the best-selling singles in music history, episode 44?
No, sir.
Okay. Quick side quest. Did the Jack Nicholson's highest-grossing films make the top 10?
No, there's no episodes in the top 10 dealing with one celebrity. However, there is a highest-grossing films episode in the top 10.
Okay. Oh, greatest music albums of all time.
The greatest music albums of all time, which is episode 106. Where would you guess that lands?
Number 4.
It's 1!
Oh!
You magnificent bastard! you've stumbled across the #1 most downloaded episode in Tennis Podcast history as of today, with 83.9 billion downloads.
And it was my content, hot content.
Yeah, but I did the guessing and I made it alive. Brought it to life. It's #1. It came out in November 2020. So if you want to know the quintessential Tennis Podcast episode to listen to, I guess it's this, episode 106. It was Brandon's list. Here's some keywords. Cranberry juice. I remember what that is.
Sounds like, was there an album about having a urinary tract infection?
Huh. I'll have to check the notes. Maybe we did talk about that. But what I'm thinking of is one of the albums I think was a Fleetwood Mac album. And that got us talking about the guy who gave him all the free publicity.
Oh, that's
on
right.
TikTok.
The cranberry juice guy. Yeah, they owe that guy. Oh, well, they gave him like a year's supply of cranberry juice. Like, oh, you fuckers. You need to give him $1 million goddamn dollars.
No, more than $1 million.
And put him in your actual commercials. You're like, he, you know, like.
Well, they did do that.
They did?
I think the commercial starts with him and then it turns into all the people replicating it.
No, it needs, like, just like the Kool-Aid Man is the Kool-Aid Man mascot, that guy on the skateboard with neck tattoos needs to be Ocean Spray Cranberry Juice mascot. So any commercial they do, he's cruising by on his skateboard.
Imagine the millions of streams and downloads of that song that came from that TikTok. I mean, yeah, they owe him. I'm with you. All right, another keyword from this episode is nunchucks.
Oh, yeah, I just wanted to talk about nunchucks. I just brought up nunchucks out of nowhere.
Yeah, I think you were bored with the notes for one of the albums and you pivoted to nunchucks instead. So, Brandon, why don't you tell us, what are your thoughts on nunchucks?
I really don't understand how they're supposed to work. Like, how do you whip someone's ass with nunchucks?
What the fuck are you talking about? You whip it.
But
just like people whip towels at asses.
Have you
whip
ever
the
seen
nunchuck.
like nunchuck fighting? Like real nunchuck fighting? I've never seen it. And it seems like a really great way to hit your own self in the face.
You haven't been to the mean streets of downtown Tulsa, Oklahoma, then, if you haven't seen nunchuck fighting. Because you whip the nunchuck, you can either hit them in the ass with it, or you whip it around their neck and it wraps around their neck really tight, and then you pull them to the ground and strangle them.
I'm going to watch a video right now where some guys are doing a nunchuck fight. This is the first place European Championship nunchaku final fight. And I'm going to skip around here until these guys are on the mat. Okay, so they've got masks on to like protect their heads. They both have nunchucks. And they're standing across from each other. Shit, here they go. Oh, fuck. Oh, whack, whack, whack. Yeah, they do just whack the shit out of each other with them.
In the face or what?
Anywhere. They're flipping them all over the place. And then, yeah, they just lunge at each other. And like, I'm sure that there's some coordination along with it, but it really just looks like they're flailing.
All I know is I don't want to get hit by a nunchuck.
They do flip them all around their body before they go at each other then. Oh, and then on this one, they both tried to strike each other at the same time, and their nunchucks tangled up. Just got to be awkward if you're in
so what do you do then?
If you're locked in mortal combat with your enemy, and then you're like, okay, hold on, time out. Okay, and then you have to untangle them.
Yeah. Well, do they do it? Are they doing that? Are they untangling them on the video you're watching?
Well, it's a championship thing, so as soon as they tangled up, it was like,
okay, it's a sport-friendly competition.
Yeah, this is a competition.
But in the ninja world, yeah, that's a problem.
In the ninja world, as soon as they get tangled, someone probably just sticks a very short knife into your throat.
Yeah, well, we have a lot of ninja listeners, so please send us some feedback at TennisPod on Twitter. Let us know how you handle nunchuck tanglement in a fight to the death. One more note from this episode, we're talking greatest music albums, is Brandon's dumbest top 10 hint yet. Do you remember that?
Mm-mm.
So I'm trying to guess the album. You're trying to give me hints.
Yep.
And you say, Marvin homosexual.
Yeah, you couldn't guess him. Did it work though?
But it worked. It did. So maybe it's not the dumbest hint yet, but it is the most sophomoric hint yet. But it did work, yeah. Is there an E on his name? G-A-Y-E?
Yeah,
or is it
yeah,
just
it
gay?
is. Yeah, G-A-Y-E. Still doesn't help when you're in elementary school, though.
There are people named Gayleen that just go by gay, you know.
Yeah.
Stupid, can't do that.
It's bold.
Okay, give me another guess.
What about the best MTV music videos?
So that is climbing quick. Some of our recent episodes, have some ground to make up. Done 150 episodes. But that one is number 16. I think it will be in the top 10 as well next time we do this 150 episodes from now. But yeah, episode 117, best music videos, is number 16.
Okay, what about the best Super Bowl halftime shows?
No, I know that's a personal favorite of yours, but I'm sorry, buddy, it did not make the top 10.
It is one of my favorites. Did most popular recreational drugs make the top 10?
No.
I need to go back to some earlier ones.
You need to go further, yeah. There's only one in the top 10 that's later than like 120.
Let's see.
And a few of these were also on the top 10 the last time we did this. So in episode 50, we did the same thing, most downloaded episodes, and I think 2 or 3 of these were on there still back then.
What about the most popular music genres?
No, that's number 14. Episode 82, number 14.
The highest grossing films of 2019?
No. Let's get back to music. You were on the right path.
I'm scrolling and I'm looking. You said no singles. The top single. Oh, most popular 80s songs.
Most popular 80s songs on Spotify, most streamed songs on Spotify from the 80s is episode 41, and that's number 4. It was also in the top 10 the last time. This was released May 2019. As of today, it has 19.4 billion downloads, and this was a Nick list.
Yeah.
Let's do the score real quick. So let's see. You have 5 of the top 10. And we have 1 Nick, 2 Nick, 3 Nick, 3 Nick, and 2 Brandon.
Right.
So I'd consider that an ass whooping so far, but I'm nunchucking your ass. All right, keywords from the 80 Songs episode. I like this one. Seeing a corpse wink at you during a funeral. What do?
It would have to open its eyes, wouldn't it?
So step 1 is the corpse opens its eyes. So you're standing there paying your respects at an open casket funeral. And you maybe even you're teary-eyed. Let's say it's my funeral. Let's say you're at my funeral and you're weeping and bellowing and like embarrassing yourself with how much you're crying because you're so sad that I'm gone. Who's going to make all these top 10 lists for you now? And then all of a sudden, my eyes slowly open. And at first, you're thinking, okay, this must be the trick of the lights or something.
As soon as your eyes start to slowly open, I'm going to crack you in the head as hard as I can.
No. You don't kill me. You say, hey, he's alive. But then as soon as people start running over to see.
Say he's undead.
No. They made a mistake. They put me in this casket by mistake, Brandon. Anyway, I wink at you.
They're supposed to sew your eyelids shut. Did you know that?
Well, yeah, I knew that. My brother-in-law was actually a funeral director for like 15 years, so I got all the inside deets.
He sewed a lot of eyelids.
I would force those sewn eyes open because I got to wink at Brandon when he comes by. I'm just sitting there waiting in my casket for all the people to get by and to get to your turn. And, I'm kind of sitting there like, I got an itch really bad on my fucking ball sack, but I can't get to it. I got to hold still. No one can know that I'm here alive. I got to wink at Brandon.
No, I still think it's you dead winking. And when you wink at me dead, I would just wink back and then go back to my seat.
So you're changing because before you said you'd hit me in the head as hard as you could.
Well, you've ruled that out. I can't do that. So yeah,
you could, but you're going to get carried out of there because people would think you're hitting a dead body.
An undead body. I'd make sure everybody knew that you were a threat and that you had been neutralized.
But when they come to see me, they don't see me wink. So as far as they know, you're just hitting a dead body.
I'm willing to roll with that.
Okay, well, I'm winking at Brandon at my funeral. And that's going to be very interesting since I plan on being cremated. So my ashes are going to wink at you. Okay, the next note from this episode is Brandon does Irish impersonations.
We must have been talking about...
Bono.
Yeah, it had to have been Bono. Does he have much of an accent anymore?
I don't know, but you're going to give us one right now. Go.
Well, I don't know what I'm saying.
Top of the morning to you.
Top of the morning to you.
Oh, God. It's bad. Let's move on. The next one is, we're sticking with the funeral theme, actually. Which 80s song would Brandon have played at his funeral? I don't remember the answer, so just give me your current answer.
Let me think.
Beat It by Michael Jackson?
No. Thriller would be good.
Yeah, especially if you are undead in your casket.
Faithfully by Journey. Oh, Dirty White Boy by Foreigner.
I don't know that one.
It would be Dirty White Boy.
How's it go?
The chorus goes, I'm a dirty white boy.
You know what I would choose is the song I started this episode with. We built this city. I think that's 80s.
It is.
There you go.
I think it's a Starship song.
Shopify is the all-in-one commerce platform to start, run, and grow your business. Shopify gives entrepreneurs the resources that were once reserved for big business. So upstarts, startups, and established businesses alike can sell everywhere, synchronize online and in-person sales, and effortlessly stay informed. Scaling your business is a journey of endless possibility. Believe me, my fishing company that I started 5 years ago with my best friend Aaron, called Woo Tungsten. Actually, it's pronounced Woo Tungsten, because that's the sound you make when you catch a giant fish. Woo! We started this company 5 years ago, November of 2016, and we've been on Shopify since day one. We sell tungsten fishing weights, and our business would be nowhere close to where it is today if it wasn't for Shopify making things so incredibly easy. And like mine, Shopify powers over 1.7 million businesses from first sale to full scale. You can reach customers online and across social networks with an ever-growing suite of channel integrations and apps, including Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, Pinterest, and more. You can gain insights as you grow, and they have detailed reporting of conversion rates, profit margins, and beyond. More than a store, Shopify grows with you. This is Possibility, powered by Shopify. Go to shopify.com/bluewire. That's all lowercase for a free 14-day trial and get full access to Shopify's entire suite of features. Grow your business with Shopify today. Go to shopify.com/bluewire right now. That's shopify.com/BLUEWIRE. Shopify.com/bluewire.
When it comes to hiring, there is no shame in needing an assist to score. Indeed has helped businesses stay competitive with their hiring, and they can do it for you too. Get started right now with $75 sponsored job credit to upgrade your job post at Indeed.com/bluewire. Indeed is a hiring partner that gets you what you really want, a short list of quality candidates as fast as possible, because you can do it all. Attract, interview, and hire all at Indeed. Get a $75 credit. You heard me. At Indeed.com/bluewire. One of the things I love about Indeed is that it makes hiring all in one place so easy. Whenever I was looking for a job, Indeed was the very first place I go. Indeed.com/bluewire. Offer valid through December 31st. Terms and conditions apply. Need to hire? You need Indeed.
All right, give me another guess.
Oh, best-selling music artists.
That's an early one, right?
Mm-hmm. It's episode 6.
No, not on here.
Most prolific serial killers.
Most prolific serial killers in American history is number 20, episode 8.
So there's still some music-themed ones left here.
Mm-hmm.
Most popular 90s songs.
You got it, buddy. That was number 1 last time we did this on episode 50, but right now it's number 2. This episode has always done well for some reason. I guess people like the 90s, maybe. It's the most popular 90s songs on Spotify today, episode 31, number 2. It was released March 2019. Man, it's a pre-pandemic world we were enjoying back then.
Mm-hmm.
I don't even just take it for granted now. This has 62.8 billion downloads as of today. It's my list, so I'm up 4-2, I think, right now. Keywords from this list. The hardest Nick has ever laughed in a movie theater. I actually remember what that is. Do you?
I don't. What is it?
It was the, and I was brought to tears in the theater, literally. It was the scene in Step Brothers. So this is, I think, 09-ish, maybe. It's a scene in Step Brothers when the stepdad, Daryl's dad, is explaining that he used to pretend to be a dinosaur when he was 18 in the backyard, and his dad told him to stop being a fucking dinosaur and get a job. And he starts like craning his neck, trying to explain how he lost it. Fuck. I love that scene. So the next note is artists refusing to play their biggest hits. I'm guessing since this is the 90s, we were talking about Nirvana, who refused to play Smells Like Teen Spirit.
Mm-hmm. Well, I might have brought up that Bob Dylan, I saw Bob Dylan play. He went on tour with Willie Nelson once. And he opened the show and he played, of all of his hits, of which there are many, many, he only played one. I think he played Highway 61 Revisited as part of the encore.
What's your opinion on artists refusing to play hits? Obviously, they can do whatever we want, so we'll acknowledge that up front. But
I think it's why people probably don't talk about like trying to get to a Bob Dylan concert anymore. People still go to Willie Nelson concert because he will play, if he plays 18 or 20 songs, 17 or 18 of them are songs that you recognize.
yeah, that's what people are paying for.
Might mix in a couple, a song from his new album or a cover or a deep cut or something like that. But that's why he was able to play like 300 plus shows a year and have people come out every time he rolls through town to see him. As opposed to Bob Dylan, I don't think he gave a fuck about touring at all.
No.
At least
He only
not,
gave a fuck about Bob Dylan.
well, at least not when I saw him in the mid 2000s. So yeah, he didn't give a shit. I think artists ought to play, I saw Paul McCartney and he played, it was, he had, just released an album and I think he played 2 or 3 songs from it, but the rest, he played Beatles and Wings songs. He knew what everyone had shown up to see.
Oh, I didn't know he was still playing Beatles songs at his concerts.
Yeah.
I guess that makes sense.
It was awesome. He opened with Magical Mystery Tour. And like, I looked around and there were, people older than me, probably, people who grew up with the Beatles, like tears were streaming down their face, like within seconds of it starting. And I kind of understood why. It was weird. Like, the whole stage just sort of blows up all at once with Magical Mystery Tour. And you're like, holy shit, that is a fucking Beatle. And I was, at the back of American Airlines Center in like the 300 section or whatever. So the very top of the very back. He was only a Paul McCartney shaped dot to me, but it was still, it was still a big damn deal. And it wouldn't have been a big damn deal if he opened with like Jenny Wren, which was, a forgotten single off of that album that came out in probably 2005, 2006.
There is the other extreme. So like one extreme is Bob Dylan, who will hardly play any hits.
Mm-hmm.
There's other bands that you'll go to their concert and you'll want to hear some of their new stuff. And they, like 9 out of 10 songs are just the old stuff. Like I remember I went to Metallica a few years ago. I love Metallica. And I wanted to hear stuff from their newer albums, and like 8 out of 10, which I know I guess I might be the minority there, but 8 out of 10 of their songs were old stuff. So
you weren't trying to ride the lightning?
I like riding lightning just fine, but I don't know. You've done all this shit since then. Let's hear it. All right, let's take a quick break from guessing. I put out a tweet. You can follow me at the Nick EMEL on Twitter, and I asked, of all the 150 episodes so far, do you have a favorite quote, moment, fun fact, or hashtag hot take from a past Tennis Pod episode?
Mm-hmm.
Amanda at Amanda Actually says, there are just so many favorites. The one that comes to mind immediately is the Bible episode. That's the one Brandon guessed earlier.
Mm-hmm.
How God is more metal than Satan, just fucking up everyone's life for sport.
Yeah, the devil actually does not do too much. In fact, when the devil wants to mess with Lot in the Bible, he has to ask God's permission. And God is like, yeah, you can fuck with him for like 7 years.
It's just like Kylo Ren in Star Wars being like the world's worst, shittiest, weakest villain in any movie ever. It's kind of like that. But also, I think we've talked about, maybe on this episode, but we talked about how, God and Satan, they know the ending to the story already. It's all written down in the Bible.
Yeah, it's in his plan.
If you're the devil, just read the end of the Bible and then don't do those things that it says in there.
Mm-hmm.
You got to avoid that bottomless pit. Don't step in that bottomless pit. Bible episodes, episode 77, by the way. The next one comes from our friends at the Film Shake podcast. They say, I never realized how much I needed to know that Lyndon B. Johnson pissed all over the White House lawn.
Yeah, with his big jumbo dick.
That might have been our heaviest president's episode, maybe?
He was one of the tallest.
He called his dick jumbo, is that right?
Yeah, he had a big old dick.
And whipped it out in front of
anybody,
male and female staff at the White House. Yeah.
That's how he got work done.
His ass would have been canceled today. One more that I'll read comes from The Magic Number is 3. They say, I think we all need to know the true origins of the hashtag airport hot dog. And if we don't ever get it, we riot.
I told the truth. Nick did that.
I told the truth too.
Well, you did not.
Okay, well, if you want the truth, just listen to any episode where I explain the truth, which is #HotDogBrandon. Thank you for those responses. Let's get back to the list. So you have 6, 7, 8, 9 left to guess.
You said there's one that's highest grossing.
Yes.
It's not highest grossing horror films.
No.
It's not highest grossing films of 2019.
No, but it's a franchise you're intimately familiar with.
Oh, the highest grossing Star Wars films?
Highest grossing Star Wars films is number 9. This is episode 36, released April 2019. 887.5 million downloads, and this was Brandon's list. So I think we're at 5-3 now, or 4-3 on the list count. So some words from this list are Jabba the Hutt and his girlfriend.
Well, he had a wife. What's Jabba the Hutt's wife's name?
Slug Tits, I think you called her.
Yeah, she's a slut. Slug.
A Freudian slip?
She could have been.
We don't know.
Her name is Gardula. Gardula the Hutt was the wife of Jabba. And she is like the slight difference between her and Jabba is that she has slightly more pronounced breasts.
Oh, baby. We won't spend a lot of time on this one because we've brought it up several times. But Luke Skywalker and the green milk of a sea cow.
Yeah, someone made a fake Lego set for that scene recently, and it was awesome.
Which one is that? Which movie?
That is The Last Jedi, episode 8.
You know, we see Luke for the first time in a long time, and he walks over to this sea cow and on this planet he's staying on, and he just squirts out some Mountain Dew out of its tit into whatever, and then he greedily drinks it up and wipes a green mustache from his face. It's very strange.
Mark Hamill said it on set that was just regular milk, and they colored it green in post.
I don't know why. Last note here is Hayden Christensen as Anakin Skywalker. Give us your 2-sentence overview on your thoughts on that.
Oh, I think he did okay. I think he's probably a better actor than those movies made him out to be. He didn't have a lot to work with.
Yeah.
Sorry, I don't have much of a hot take. But yeah, he wasn't very good in those movies, but I think he got a raw deal.
So what's a recent episode covering another franchise? Franchise isn't the right word, but another pop culture thing that we both love. It's the most recent episode in the top 10 here.
Oh, Seinfeld top side characters?
Yes, sir. Number 8 was episode 127. This top Seinfeld side characters, a list brought to you by the Sidekick host Brandon. It was released April 2021. Just inching toward 1 billion downloads, sitting at 999.6 million right now. One of the keywords is Newman's physical comedy that is often underrated.
Mm-hmm.
I'd agree with that.
When he smells that jambalaya, he does this like little...
Jambalaya.
His legs go like diddly diddly dee before he takes off.
He is a big rotund gentleman, but he can move. He can move for his size.
Very light on his feet.
Yeah. The other note is a paralyzing fear of mice.
That's George's dad, Frank Costanza, has a paralyzing fear of mice and of taking off his shoes.
I will not tolerate infestation. Yeah, that's top Seinfeld side characters. We also did Seinfeld, our favorite characters, period, back on episode 32. But that did not make the list. So you have 2 left, 6 and 7.
All right, I'm going to need some help here.
Okay. So 7 was also on this top 10 last time we did this, and it is the one true crime themed episode in the top 10.
Okay, it's not most prolific serial killers.
No, and you brought this list.
Okay. Oh, is it the FBI's most wanted?
FBI's most wanted fugitives is episode 28, and it is number 7.
And it's probably time for an update.
Yeah, that list changes. So there you go. Write that down. Most wanted fugitives, released February 2019. 1.9 billion downloads so far. Some keywords are overbearing fathers. Do you remember the overbearing father that he was so protective of his daughter from being anything but pure that he decided, well, the best way to keep her pure is to kill her.
Yep, that's right.
For the sake of time, let's just move on then. So number 6 is your last one, and it's fairly recent.
Oh, is it most brutal dictators?
No, this is one that is like web-based, computer, internet technology.
Most Googled people of 2020?
No, sir.
Hmm.
This is something you search for, but not on Google.
Oh, is it the porn episode?
The porn episode, brought to you by Nick, is number 6
What
and
episode
growing.
was that?
Episode 107, the top porn searches of 2019. And I have to wonder how many people land on that because they're weirdly searching Spotify or Apple Podcasts for porn.
Yeah.
But why? Why are you searching those platforms for that?
Desperate and just scratching at your crotch on the commuter train.
Well, November 2020, this came out, 4.7 billion downloads, and some, I love these. The first one is crunching your pud.
Mm-hmm. That was another way to say like pounding off.
Pounding off, crunching your pud. The comments section of Pornhub.
Yeah,
That's a dangerous place you don't want to be.
that's where pride and honor go to die.
And where cavemen go to say, nice tits.
Nice muff.
I'd fuck her.
More muff.
I'd totally fuck her. Yeah, I bet you would. And the last one is dragons having sex with cars, which apparently is a thing.
Yeah, there's a whole subreddit for dragons fucking cars.
But why?
I don't know. I mean, one person probably asked for it, and then another person saw it, and they were like, I didn't know that I needed that.
Well, you don't need it. That's the spoiler here. You don't need it.
You can live your whole life without seeing it.
All right, so let me go back through the top 10. We're rushing a little bit here because we both have to go, so apologies for that. But I'm going to start back at number 20. So number 20, the most prolific serial killers in American history, number 8. Number 19 is the most popular sports worldwide, episode 91. 18 is the highest grossing horror films, episode 5. 17 is most popular breakfast cereals in America, surprisingly, episode 29. 16 is MTV music videos, episode 117. 15 is our favorite books, episode 35. 14 is most popular music genres, episode 82. 13 is the top female country music stars, episode 108. 12 is the most common phobias, episode 30. 11 is best-selling video game consoles of all time, episode 27. By the way, that trend I mentioned is music. Music-based episodes are throughout the top 20.
Right.
Let's go to the top 10. 10 is the most popular Christmas carols at episode 68. 9 is the highest grossing Star Wars films, episode 36. 8 is the top Seinfeld side characters, episode 127. 7 is FBI's most wanted fugitives, episode 28. 6 is the top porn searches of 2019, episode 107. 5 is the smartest presidents in U.S. history at episode 84. 4 is the most popular 80s songs on Spotify, episode 41. 3 is the best-selling video game franchises, episode number 1. 2 is the 90 songs on Spotify, episode 31. And number 1 is episode 106, the greatest music albums of all time, featuring nunchucks.
It's too bad that I've used all the good music lists already. Gonna have to scrape for some more.
I gotta, at some point, bring the most popular 70s songs on Spotify. Most popular 2000 songs, 2010 songs. There's lots of shit you can do there. And we gotta do the top 10 greatest Bob Dylan albums.
Oh, there are probably good 10 great. Like, I could do that.
Yeah. Don't do Bob Dylan, because I won't do well on that.
No, you don't know shit.
So the tally, by the way, if you're wondering, who brought the list in the top 10, is a perfect tie, 5-5.
Hell yeah.
But I think since I'm bringing this list today, right now, I think we can say I won.
I'll let you have it.
All right. Well, again, we are unfortunately out of time, so I'm not going to have time to read podcast reviews today. We'll save them for next time. Thank you so much for helping us get to 150 episodes. Here's 250 more by this week. Let's do 150 more this week, Brandon. What do you say?
If we can't even squeeze one full one in this week, I don't know how we're going to do that, but sure, We'll work on it.
Yeah. Anyway, thanks for listening. We'll be back next week with more Spooktober. Brandon, it's your list. Make it spooky.
It's going to spook your socks off.
All right. See you, Brandon.
Thanks.
When you think of the last 20 years of the Browns, what's the saddest memory that first comes to mind?
The year we didn't win a game. Josh Gordon, to be honest.
Being a punching bag for the Steelers.
The past 20 years.
I'm Andre Knott, and on my new podcast, Brownstown, we dive deep into 20 years of Cleveland Browns heartbreak. We talk to players, coaches, and journalists that saw it all firsthand. If you're a lifelong fan or just hopping on the bandwagon, this podcast is for you. Listen to Brownstown wherever you listen to podcasts.